So you're excited about the realities of investing in property, just like 1.9 million other Australians who have at least one investment property. The next question is, what do you buy and where do you buy it? This decision is paramount because if your investment property fails to deliver a positive financial outcome, what's the point? Remember, the whole purpose of investing is financial gain and long-term financial security. For that, your property needs to have solid capital growth over time. How can you help make sure of this? The answer: diligent research. The two market forces that control property prices are supply and demand. Typically, where there is more demand than supply, you will have price growth. Where you have more supply than demand, prices will often stay the same or even fall. This applies not just to property, but to all commodities: gold, oil, diamonds, even bananas. Remember back in 2006 when Cyclone Larry hit Innisfail in North Queensland and wiped out almost 90% of Australia's bananas? All of a sudden, bananas were costing $17 a kilo rather than the usual $2.50. Why? Supply was reduced to about 10%, but demand stayed the same because just as many people still wanted a banana on their breakfast cereal or in their smoothie. So prices went up. The same goes for property. Here's an example to get you thinking. Let's say there are two locations, Town A and Town B. Both towns have a population of 10,000 people today. You decide to do some research and find out that over the next 10 years, Town A will add a further 5,000 people, whereas Town B's population will only increase by 2,000. Based on that information, where would you rather invest? Okay, but because this is such an important decision, you decide to do even more research. You then discover that for the 5,000 people wanting to move into Town A over the next 10 years, there are going to be 7,000 properties available. In contrast, for the 2,000 people wanting to move into Town B over the next 10 years, there are only 200 properties available. Now, where would you rather invest? As you can see, knowing demand isn't enough. Knowing the relationship between supply and demand gives you better insight to make a better decision. Aren't you glad you did the extra research that led you to Town B? The more information you can find out about supply and demand for potential investment locations, the better your investment decision will be, and the more likely you will have a successful outcome. This example is a very simplistic one, but illustrates the point nicely. The reality is quite a bit more complex, as it involves many variables. As illustrated, population growth is only a part of the demand picture, but other things like employment, transportation, infrastructure, shops, schools, medical facilities, etc. also play a significant part of driving demand.